Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm Corinne.
And welcome to our channel, RVIntoRetirement. We're going on our third week of full-time RV living. And what we wanted to do is take you through our journey of where we started very part-time back in 2018, knowing hardly anything about RVs, and how we got to today being full-time RVers.
Well, it started with us looking at just always having that dream. We started really with tent camping with our kids back, I don't know, say 15 years ago when we first met. And we loved tent camping. It was, rustic for us. We got all the equipment, and we really enjoyed the outdoors and the places that it was able to take us. When our kids started getting older and less interested in going camping with us, we still really wanted to go out and do those things. But I think I got to a point where I don't know that I want to do the tent thing anymore, and we started looking at RVs. But originally, we started looking at the pop-ups because we didn't have the means to buy a huge RV and to get into this for a lot of money, and we really had never done it, so it was a little scary.
Yeah, we went to a local dealer here in Phoenix, and they dealt specifically in trailers. We looked at it was a little A-frame trailer that popped up, and it looked like a tent, but it was hard-sided, and it had air conditioning. It had a small refrigerator, and I don't think it had a toilet or a shower or anything like that.
No, but I think we talked about getting a little like porta potty type of thing.
But from tent camping, it looked like a big jump up, and at that point, even looking at that, it seemed like a lot of money. We never did pull the trigger and buy one, but we kept going back to different dealers and taking a look at different options.
And we probably did that for, I would say, it was a few years. It wasn't just once. It was over the course of probably 2 to 3 to 4 years that we looked.
And each time we went in, we gained some valuable information. I remember one dealer, he really took us through a thorough discussion of Class A, Class B, Class C, took us inside all the different types of RVs that were out there, and we decided that we liked either a Class C or a Class A would fit us. And we continued our search, and one day we were on a dealer's lot, and it's kind of funny how we got there because we have 4 little dogs sitting down here at our feet, and I looked at this one RV, I think it was a Thor Ace or something like that, and it had a little doggy window, and I thought, our dogs would love that, and it advertised it had a little pet hook outside where you can tie your dog out and they could sit outside, which now seems like a bad idea.
Which we would never do. We've never done, but it seemed good at the time.
Yeah, so it brought us into the dealer, and as we were walking around, these RVs all seemed out of touch too. I mean, this was high 70s, 80s to $100,000 for a new RV. And as we were walking the lot, we saw this one RV. It was a used RV. It had very low miles, 15,000 miles. It was a little rough on the outside, but the inside was really great.
Really cute.
And so they were asking $25,000, and we got them down to $20,000, and we ended up buying that. It was kind of interesting because it had issues with it on the exterior, the batteries and such, and the dealer said that they would do everything to bring it up to snuff, and they actually did.
But then they ended up breaking something also when they were fixing other things.
Yeah, the awning was so tattered and dry rotted that when they opened it,
it just fell.
It fell to the ground. It broke the whole mechanism, and it turned out to be a good thing. They did replace it. We got a brand new canopy, a brand new mechanism, so in the long run, we were happy. I mean, we felt like we hit the jackpot. We got into a Class A RV for $20,000 and only had 15,000 miles.
And for us at the time, it was going to be, we were going to go into retirement with this, not living full time, that was never ever something we even considered at this point.
I think a weekender, and
take a vacation, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks to go away, and that was how we had seen that's how we envisioned that we were going to use this RV.
Right. And, we watched all the YouTube videos, and I get hooked on all the tech and stuff, and I threw solar on it and lithium batteries and steering stabilizer, and I forget what else.
You worked on the oxidation.
Yeah, if there was an accessory to be bought for it, I was into it. And we did our first shakedown trip at a local campground, and everything seemed fine.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was very, very comfortable. One of the best things that we did was we found a mattress to replace the stock one that came in the coach, and I thought that was the most comfortable mattress we've ever had.
It was so comfortable that you didn't want to. When we did sell that RV, he wanted to take it out, and I was like, "No, you can't take out the mattress."
and you found it. What was the name of that mattress? Do you remember?
Yeah, Montana Hybrid. Very good mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend
We'll put a link down. It's a really good mattress. Oh, we loved it.
So anyway, our first shakedown trip went fairly well, and we made plans to go out to Quartzsite. And there's a big event, the Big Tent, in January, and this was January 2019, and we got all packed up, loaded the dogs into the RV, and off we went.
And that's where it started. That's where it started for me, and that's where it almost ended. Our journey for RVs, for full-time living, it was never going to happen in my mind, because I got very frightened and very scared that I was thinking to myself, I hate this.
Yep.
I don't want to be in here. I was afraid. I really was that afraid that I didn't think that I was going to make it to our destination.
Yeah, I don't think we made it out of the city limits of Phoenix, and to set it up a little, and this was probably our first huge lesson in RVing, was that our coach had a lot of overhang in the rear of the coach, and from the rear wheels to your rear trailer hitch was a huge amount of overhang. And what that does is it sort of weather vanes and wags you when a big truck comes by, or if you get hit with a gust of wind. And if you know the route from Phoenix to Quartzsite, it's a major I-10 corridor loaded with trucks, 18-wheelers going from Phoenix to Los Angeles and Los Angeles to Phoenix.
So that's how we learned about wheelbase.
Right, and the importance of that. And what we learned was the manufacturer that they buy the truck from, that the RV is built on, they have rails, and it only goes so far back, but to extend it, the RV manufacturer welds on an addition to those rails. And so that had a few limiting factors, one of them being the tail wag, and the other one was how much weight the hitch could hold.
So anyway, we got to Quartzsite. We didn't bring a tow vehicle, so we had no transportation, and we had no idea what to expect. And so that's when we started realizing that was another showstopper for us, because in order to do RVing the way we wanted to, which was really just to take it for vacation, but to be able to leave our RV and then take another vehicle somewhere, like the Big Tent or something like that, we would need to be able to tow. And we started researching.
Our car couldn't be towed. The model that we had just happened to be the first year of that model that couldn't be towed.
So good luck for us.
Honda CRV 2015 was the first year.
14 the last year that they could tow them.
And so our second thought was, we'll put a motorcycle on a rack on the back. So we bought a lightweight motorcycle, and I started researching the racks, and then I found out that the tongue weight wasn't enough to support both the rack and the motorcycle.
So that was almost a showstopper also. But then another solution was,
we bought a dolly to pull our motorcycle.
But because of the dolly, so the other thing about the dolly, it was very, very specific, because we needed to have something that would fold up, because we didn't have enough room to store the dolly.
Right.
So That was, yeah.
And then our first trip, as I mentioned in the first video, was we were planning to go to Yellowstone, and I started reading about all these people getting attacked by buffaloes and seeing the buffaloes, coming up to the cars and stuff. And I thought, well, how's that going to be on a motorcycle? And so that really... That was the end of the whole motorcycle, probably the RV too.
Which I was very happy because we have had motorcycles and it was never my favorite, so I was willing to do it if we had to, but I wasn't sorry to see the motorcycle go.
Yeah, I think if I was 20 years old and more adventurous, yeah, that would be okay, but right now, no.
So... then the RV also had to go. I mean, it just wasn't going to work. We just were coming into... That's because we kind of... Even though we thought we did our research, we bought it pretty quickly.
Right. We were attracted by the price. I don't think we understood the full dynamics of the extensions and pulling. We didn't think through all of these pieces.
It was $20,000.
Yeah. I mean, the positive note is, with all the upgrades that we did put on it, we were able to sell it for a profit.
And pretty quickly,
and we didn't
right?
lose anything. Yeah, I mean, it was well equipped, and it saved somebody a lot of work. And as a weekender or anything like that, it wasn't a bad RV. To travel miles and miles and miles, it just wasn't for us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so, also while we were at Courtside, we were telling people of our experience driving out, and we just, I think, walked away from there knowing that we probably wanted to upgrade to a diesel pusher, that it had some features that were better for us, and we'll talk about what we went into next and our journeys that we did in our next video. But to wrap this video up, I think it was a good learning lesson. I think that if I was to do it over and if I was to make a recommendation, I would say rent an RV before you buy one, and certainly test it on a freeway and make sure that you're comfortable with the handling.
Well, thank you for listening. We hope that you'll continue coming on our journey. Our next video will talk about our next adventure, our next journey into our second RV.
And so please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you're notified when a new video comes up. And until that time, remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
they're not big enough.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Jim.
Wait, I just heard something.
That was C.
Okay, well, tell her to stop.
Go sit in the bed. At this point, we're on our second week of living full-time in our RV, but it wasn't always this way. It all started 3 years ago, back in 2018. What?
Was it always this way? What the hell is that? What way was it?
Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm Corinne.
Welcome to our channel, RVIntoRetirement. Right now we're going into our third week of full-time RV living, but it always wasn't this way. Oh God, okay. That was another Game Stopper, what is it called? Game Changer?
Game Changer, okay.
Game Stopper?
Game Changer?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, I won't use that. Okay.
Showstopper.
Showstopper. Oh, okay, yes, that's what it is. Okay. Because we have to go back a little bit.
Why?
Okay. Because I said so.
Okay.
Okay, so you go.